Hello, everybody, and welcome into Memorial Stadium here in Bloomington, Indiana. Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat Radio coming to you as Indiana takes on number 8 Cincinnati today with an excellent opportunity to do a lot of things, prove a lot of things, and a lot of people wrong, but they're not able to get that done as they lose here today by the final score of 36-24 to the number 8 Bearcats. It was a game that Indiana had many opportunities to win, let's say. They were in charge of this game. They were dominating this game from a defensive standpoint in the first half. Cincinnati did not have a first down until toward the end of the they hadn't even crossed midfield, as a matter of fact, towards the end of the first half. But Michael McFadden, after a replay was going on for something else, is called for targeting and gets tossed out of the game right before the end of the half. And from that moment, the tone of this game seemed to change for Indiana. It gave Cincinnati life, and it kind of deflated Indiana, although we'll talk about them on the offensive side. They have still a lot of problems that they have got to shore up. One of those are at quarterback. Michael Penix, not a great day. The entire offense, not. Some of them were great. DJ Matthews, what a career day he had. We'll talk about him as well. 120 yards on 5 catches. The running game looked okay as well. We saw some different guys getting there. But overall, the story of the game, the red zone. Indiana makes 6 trips to the red zone today, and they only come away with 3 scores. They give up 3 opportunities where Cincinnati was 5 of 5 in the red zone, and that, my friends, is the ball game. Tom Allen, obviously not happy afterwards, was short-lived, didn't make an opening statement, went right to questions, and everything, maybe not with Tom, but as we'll get to the players, everything seems to be revolving around Michael Penix. He was taken for x-rays, by the way, afterwards. We were not given an exact update as to what that all entails. We will be given more information on Monday, but he has been taken to get x-rays as precautionary measures, but we really don't know, to be honest with you. So he's been taken to get x-rays, and that's all we were told. We'll find out more and have that for you as soon as we get that. But Tom Allen talking about after the game, he was not happy. Obviously, the defense did a wonderful job. Tremendous job in shutting down a vaunted Cincinnati offense. But when they lost Michael McFadden, they lost the heart of their defense. And it really took a lot of the wind out of Indiana's sails, but they were able to come back and play pretty good defense the rest of the way. But let's hear what Coach Tom Allen had to say after the game.
I agree. I saw several drops out there by some of our key guys that we're counting on. It's a collective group. It's the offensive line. It's everybody. And it's better decision-making by him. You got to protect the football. To me, these are, against a good team like this, and they're a good football team, you can't make those kind of mistakes. You can't turn the ball over. You can't be in the red zone, tight red zone, 3 times and get no points. So that's the game right there. 3 trips in there, no points.
Peyton Hendershot is not Peyton Hendershot, but Ty Freifogel. 1 reception today for 13 yards, and that was out of 7 targets. He had 7 balls thrown at him, 1 catch, and I know 2 of those should have been made, and they would have been good plays. Ty Freifogel is not the receiver right now that he was last year. Michael Penix is not the quarterback he was last year. We all kind of know that. But this offense itself is not gelling together right now. It will do good things on one side one week, and then the next week it's not quite there. So they have a long way to go and a short time to get there, because once Big Ten season opens, we've seen teams like Michigan State who have already improved vastly over last year. Indiana is going to have to improve quickly on offense. It seems to me right now that they're an extremely good defensive team with a slightly better than average offense, and you're not going to win a lot of games that way. Cincinnati won this game simply not because they were a great team. They're not. That was not – I didn't see Cincinnati as a top 10 team there today. That was a win that Indiana should have had, in my opinion, easily. They had too many opportunities that they dropped, passes being one of those. Some costly mistakes, missed opportunities, a roughing the passer when they had him stopped. It was just, it seems like just the wrong time is when the mistakes were made today. And you heard Tom Allen talking about some drops and things like that. He also talked about, and Michael Penix, we at halftime, I said, you know what? I would not be afraid at all to see Jack Tuttle. And it's not always about the quarterback, whether he's performing perfectly or not, but sometimes it's the response he gets. But that did not change today. But Tom was asked about going forward, and here's what he had to say.
Oh, I'm going to look at everything in terms of just, you evaluate your team. Everybody gets evaluated. You want to evaluate the offensive line, defensive line, safeties, corners, linebackers, quarterbacks, running backs, every position. You got to perform and you got to make good decisions at that spot. And, it's, I'm never going to act like that nobody's job is 100% safe. I don't care what position you play on this team. You better perform. You better play to a high level to do the things that we know we got to do to win football games. So you see what we can do when we're all locked in and playing to the standard that we have here and how good we can be. So, and when you don't, then you also see that result. But yes, everybody's being evaluated.
Michael Penix, as he talked about, 17 of 40 today for 224 yards. Those aren't horrible stats. They're nice, but it's what's beside it. He did have 2 touchdowns, but 3 more interceptions. Just cannot have that. That's 6 interceptions in 2 games. So that math usually does not add up very well. Carr had a decent game. Stephen Carr running the ball, 21 attempts, 52 yards, only a 2.5 average. Was getting some good runs here and there. Tim Baldwin Jr., 9 runs for 30 yards, a 3.3 average. Nice day for him, helping out. Michael Penix ran the ball 4 times for a total of 5 yards. On the other side of the ball, Cincinnati's quarterback, Ritter, ran the ball 10 times for 45 yards. Nice little addition that he added there, 4.5 yards a carry. And then their big guy, Ford, 20 carries, 66 yards on the day, 2 touchdowns. So they did nothing special. Cincinnati did nothing special offensively. Indiana completely beat itself today, and there's no question that this is a game that they are going to regret for a long, long time. An opportunity in a full house, a sold-out Memorial Stadium, a national television audience with ESPN. It was a good game, but not a good game for Indiana as they cannot finish and close it out, unfortunately. You look at the numbers. Total yards, 328 for Cincinnati, 376 for the Hoosiers. Passing, 210 for Cincinnati, 224 for the Hoosiers. Rushing, 118 for Cincinnati, 152 for Indiana. Penalties, 11 for 72 yards for Cincinnati, only 5 for 45 for Indiana. Indiana's leading in almost every category. The time of possession was a difference of 7 seconds between these two teams. The stats were almost really close. Indiana led virtually every stat, with the exception of the one that I mentioned. 5 of 5 in the red zone for Cincinnati, 3 of 6 for the Hoosiers. When times get critical, they're not performing. And I don't know if that's on the play calling right now, if that's some of that. I think some of it may be play calling. I did not like the 4th and 1 quarterback sneak. I don't mind them going forward on 4th and 1, but I thought that was a very, very bad call. Why would you give it to your least effective runner if you need a 4th down? I think that they should have given it to a running back and secured that 1st down. And that was one of those red zone trips that came up empty. And that's on play calling there. But there's plenty of blame to go around. Indiana just not getting it done today, not executing on the offensive side. Defensively, like I said, they did a damn good job. But that's not going to work going forward. I mentioned the bad. And then Penix just forcing things. Forcing things on some of these turnovers. And that's a problem going forward. And you heard Tom Allen talk about everyone's going to be evaluated, and that was including the quarterbacks. I don't see a change being made, but Indiana has to do something. This is just a better than average offense, and that's all that it is right now. And I have not seen much improvement over the 2 games or the 3 games that we've seen them play right now. And the Idaho game is kind of an anomaly. They're a lower division team. Indiana's got issues, and it's going to get rougher when the Big Ten opens up, like I said. Now, DJ Matthews, what a great day for him. Best career day as a Hoosier, 120 yards on 5 receptions, making it happen. And what a great kid this guy is. He's always very polite in the pressers, but let's hear what DJ had to say.
Like I said, our coaches they put together a great game plan, you know, to where they knew they would play man sometimes. There'd be a lot of quarters, you know, and they like to pass guys off. They like to play man on the outside, you know, kind of cover three in between the triangle in the middle of the defense. So, you know, it was just all about scheming, you know, and our coach just was able to put me in a great place today.
Some comments coming in. Alan says that Penix doesn't see the field well. I don't know if it's that or he has just really, on some of these interceptions, really bad decision making, just throwing balls that you can't throw. He was in the grasp and threw into coverage on the one interception. And I believe that was right before the half. How critical that was. Indiana had gone down, scored, and we're going to be able to go into the half with a comfortable lead. Didn't happen that way. They just couldn't stand prosperity, and again, critical mistakes at critical times, and that kind of reminds you of the Indiana of old, which I don't want to say that, but that's where we're heading with this right now. I mean, every big game that comes up, they're not performing, making mistakes. Getting beat is one thing, not performing is another. Making mistakes, the offense is simply not there. I think that Tom Allen seriously has to challenge his team, whether it's by making some changes with putting Jack Tuttle in, putting someone else in at wide receiver right now to motivate, do whatever it takes. Like Bob Knight said, the bench is a great motivator. It is. And I'm not saying those guys are not motivated. I'm not saying that they need to be benched, but something has to be done and shaken up. This offense has enough talent to be a lot better than it is, in my opinion. Cam Jones played a terrific job on defense today. Like I said, that defense did a knockout job until they lost Micah McFadden. Man, they were just stuffing Cincinnati. And this game would have been a lot different, I think, had that not happened. Indiana's confidence would have stayed up, and the defense would have they were ahead of Cincinnati, a step ahead of them. Now, Cincinnati also a big second half team, as I've told you on the show this week. They were tied 7-7 to Murray State last week, won that game 47-7. They come back in the second half, scoring here today as well. But Cam Jones on the defensive side, a great kid, like I said. He talked about while putting forth a great effort is not enough, that everybody has to do their job to get the job done. Let's hear what he had to say.
First, I just want to start by saying, you know, Cincinnati, they're a great team. We knew that they had a lot of talent coming in this game, and you know, we knew we had to bring the energy. We were stopping the run game, and they found ways to attack us in the pass game. And Micah, he's a great player. He's a ball player, and I hate he couldn't finish the game with us. You know, he played with tremendous effort. I think that play was an effort play. But at the end of the day, we still got to do our job as a defense, all 11 players out there on the field, and as a team. So,
Cam Jones talking about Micah McFadden there as he was disqualified from the contest right towards the end of the first half for a targeting call that was not even called on the field. I did not know that you could go back on a replay that was not about that play and call a foul. If that is the case, I don't understand why they don't go back and call holding and call whatever. You can call 1,000 penalties if you go back and look at the replay. So that's a little befuddling. And another thing, I haven't seen targeting called that much this entire season so far in all of football, whether it's the NFL or college football. And again, to make that call off of a replay, man, in a game of this magnitude, makes you shake your head a little bit. But unfortunately, Ryder Anderson, another big day. He had to go out one time with an injury, but he's tough, went straight to the locker room, came right back out and played on that team. Another great addition that this Indiana defense has made. And this defense is going to do a lot of things for Indiana this year. If this offense could ever get going, Indiana could be a good team. But they're not going right now. The defense is on track, but Ryder Anderson also, no one was happy today after the game. But let's hear what Ryder had to say. I think he's talking about Michael Penix, or I can't remember if it's Micah McFadden or Michael Penix.
He's a good quarterback, We just he made some great reads, some great throws. Started getting the ball out. We just got to do better. You know, we got to finish the game. Held them in the first half. We got to lose in the second half. That's on us.
There's Ryder Anderson, the transfer from Ole Miss, who has been a stalwart on that defensive line. Just a game that Indiana played, and as I look up now, I can see Tom Allen was not happy in the post-game press conference. Like I said, he did not even make an opening statement. I just saw him walk out of his office overhead, and on the phone, he's probably talking to recruits. But Indiana could have won this game, and they had the full house, like I said, and that's the fear is, did those fans leave seeing an Indiana of old, or did they see an Indiana team that has come along? I'm not sure. I'll have to ask them. We'll have to find out on Monday. But it was a good crowd. As a matter of fact, the student section down in the which would be the northeast end of the stadium here to my immediate right was loud. I mean, loud. I think that Cincinnati had 4 false starts and 4 offside penalties today. That is huge. But those false starts, they all came on this end of the field. And that was courtesy of that student section there. That's what happens when you have a crowd, folks. Can you imagine those stadiums that have 110,000 people or 90,000 people? That's why those teams have such an advantage. Even a place like Indiana that only holds 50,000 people, and that student section is only about 12,000 strong, but there's more people here. But down in this end, where it's all together, it was difficult as it could be for Cincinnati, and it would sure be, I'm sure the football team would love to see that more often, but that was a difference maker. It was definitely aiding the defense. They couldn't hear the snap. They were making mistakes, and they were befuddled as well. But things started changing, go their way when Michael McFadden was lost for Indiana, and then the interceptions that Michael Penix threw as well, and things just kept going downhill. Indiana had a chance at the end, but turned the ball over and couldn't come through with that victory. So up next, Indiana goes back to the non-con side of things. I think we're off to Western Kentucky next week. Is that right, John?
Yes, sir. Down in my alma mater, Bowling Green, WKU.
Yeah, look, I'm not a game. We've talked about this is not a game Indiana should have scheduled to play down there. I don't think that Indiana's in danger. Well, you know what? Unless their offense, their defense doesn't scare me a bit. Although Western is a big scoring team, although I know they're not a Big Ten team or SEC team, but they can score points. But this offense has got to get it together because they missed out on way too many opportunities today. Western Kentucky is not a team that is looked at as a formidable opponent, but you're going on the road. You're coming off of a loss. Then you're going to have to open up with Big Ten play.
Penn State right after that.
And so there's a lot going through the minds right now. Don't know what is going on with Michael Penix, as I said, was taken for x-rays after the game. Have no idea what for. Don't know if it was on have no idea. Not even going to speculate. So we'll know more about that Monday. But that was all that was said in that regard. So we'll see if any changes are made. And if there are, there could be no better time for that to happen than this week as you go into a Western Kentucky game as opposed to a Big Ten game. So, but let's hope that he's healthy and fine. But we'll know more about that on Monday. But yeah, Western Kentucky coming up next week. That's on Saturday. Isn't that a Saturday night game, John? I think it's
Yeah, we got Saturday at about 8
game
o'clock
on CBS, I believe.
I think it's Saturday night.
Are you kidding me?
I could be wrong, but I think I looked it up earlier today.
I hope you are wrong. But but I'm happy about you guys. Yes, Al, I know you talk about the X-rays. Yep, absolutely. But I cannot thank you guys enough. As always, we appreciate you more than anything. We'll be back on Monday to do what we always do on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. But always we'll have the update on Michael Penix, and then of course after the show, the live show, we'll be at the Indiana press conferences. So that's when we'll actually find out. We probably are not going to know anything when the show broadcasts on Monday, but I will be doing the post-presser show immediately afterwards like I've been doing. So we'll find out. We'll know next week on Monday. But hopefully it's a better week next week. Indiana has got to get off this snide. They open up this season to 1-2, very far from what the expectations were. Although it was going to be a rough start. You had to go to Iowa, which that's no easy chore there. And this is a game they just shouldn't have lost. Unfortunately, they did. But that's how it goes. We'll be back here in Memorial Stadium in 3 weeks. Are we 3 weeks, John, from coming back here?
Yeah, we got 2 games on the road, and then they'll be back for Michigan State for homecoming.
Yeah, so we're on the road at Bowling Green, Kentucky next week, and then the week after that, Indiana is at Happy Valley, and then back here at Memorial Stadium. So you've got a Penn State team that's 2 weeks away, but we'll be talking about that.
It's a chance to get back in the good graces of fans before another home game, though. I'm not saying they're going to go in and upset Penn State, but if you can, it's a good way to get people back on your side.
Well, that would be a gigantic win because Penn State is potentially the best.
They could be the best team in the Big Ten East.
Absolutely could. But so we'll find out. But we'll be back on Monday to do it with all you guys. I cannot thank you enough again, as always. Thanks to John as well. Thanks to everybody. And we look forward to seeing you guys on Monday. Until then, make sure you do something nice for someone. And I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.